All right, next one. Jonathan Gannon, defensive coordinator for the Eagles.
Who? Jonathan
Easy.
Gannon. He is viewed, if you want to say Kellen Moore is the Sean McVay route, Jonathan Gannon is the Brandon Staley route. 39 years old, young defensive mind, and has only been a defensive guy. You look at every job he's ever had, only defense. So this is a guy who you would be hiring purely for his leadership. You wouldn't be hiring him because he's identified a good staff before, because he's identified a quarterback before. He's a first-year defensive coordinator. Before that, he was the defensive backs coach with the Colts, and before that, and a key right here, he was the assistant defensive back coach of the Minnesota Vikings for 4 seasons from 2014 to 2017. So big-time George Payton connections there. A couple of things. I saw a lot of Eagles fans and a lot of chatter for yesterday about Eagles fans saying, take him. Yeah. And to me, that's...
Eagles fans don't like anyone.
Well, that's also very true. But to me, I'm thinking, that's interesting. And the Eagles defense, up and down, they started this year very poorly. But then for a 10-game stretch before this past week, they were giving up 16.5 points per game. So for 10 games, the defense really came together. And then this past week did not matter. So that's why I didn't include it in this stat. But they gave up 51 points to the Cowboys. It didn't matter
they rested
for them.
their
They've
starters.
rested guys.
Exactly. That's why I didn't include it in that. But so for the most of the second half of the season, their defense was really good. So this is a up-and-coming young defensive stud.
Also, not only up-and-coming, but the other job that he had other than being on the defensive side, he worked as a scout with the St. Louis Rams. So he actually
He had two
has...
different scouting jobs.
Yeah, he was college scout and then a pro scout. So he actually has personnel in his background, which is something that I think is an attribute for him in terms of helping George Payton in terms of putting together a roster. This is a positive for him.
Yep.
I think kind of the question on him is, similar to Gerard Mayo. I mean, Mayo hasn't been a coordinator. Gannon's only been a coordinator for 1 year, and as recently as 2017 wasn't the DB's coach. He was the assistant defensive backs coach.
Yeah.
So is it his time just yet? And then, like you said, with Eagles fans, it's interesting because we're going to get into another candidate later whose defense appears unimpressive on the surface, but their team's fans don't want to see him go.
Okay, so then Brandon Staley, really quick, he was a guy that was the Broncos outside linebacker coach one year with the Rams as a coordinator, and then got the head coaching job. And yes, he's made some questionable decisions this year, but I still overall think the Chargers love him. So that's why I think he's exactly that Brandon Staley.
Vance Joseph, another guy though, who was a 1-year coordinator.
Of course.
Before. So
Mike Vrabel was a 1-year coordinator too.
But I'm saying there's success. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's certainly also not the ticket to success.
Yeah, with this one, this completely screams to me. George Payton knew him in Minnesota and said that guy's going to be a head coach one day. Now that he has the opportunity to hire a head coach, I want to see what he's got.
Or also help him out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think also maybe like, hey, here's a chance to start getting this guy on radars.
Yes, 100%.
So,
The coaching.
He hasn't had a head coaching interview. This is going to be his first. This is going to get him some attention. Get this guy's career going forward as he gets into his 40s.
We're really fighting over these seconds at this point. All right, next one here. Oh, I guess we got one more second. Next one here.